Thursday edition of Family Matters because Kevin was off helping families yesterday, which was Wednesday. But anyway, Kevin Peterson and all the dogs behind him. Welcome, Kevin.
Look at that. There's one. Hey, my friend, how are you? It's good to
They're
see
like
you.
gerbils. They're like gerbils. They just walk around wherever. But you know what? Kevin and I were talking pre-show, and we were like, how can we help more families? And Kevin's just like, let's just keep doing the show. So I'm going to keep listening to Kevin. Go over and creep him. I do it all the time on Instagram. Kevin W. Peterson. ChronicHope.us has got all kinds of resources. You can reach out to Kevin. You get all kinds of free resources. We won't call the cops on you if you take any of it. They're free. There's a Chronic Hope Facebook page for all family members. All kinds of goodies. One of these days, he's going to wise up and start charging for all of it. But incredible free resources, ChronicHope.us. But anyway, he won't listen to me, so he'll continue offering all these free resources. The Family Whisperer himself. Kevin, what's on your mind? Anything in particular?
You know, nah. This is like, it's been a busy week. And there's a lot of people reaching out. And, it has made me remember why I do what I do, because I just want to help. Is what it comes down to.
Well, I'm going to start you off with a doozy. Let's go right into, it's going to be our last question, but I've decided to play producer. We reached out to an interventionist for help for our son, and we were told that our son won't stand a chance to get sober unless we, his family, agree to get help. How does that help, Kevin?
Well, funny story, Jay. Here's the deal. And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what my family did to me. My family approached a therapist and said, "Hey, our son's out of control. We don't know what to do." And the therapist, this is in 1990, and the therapist said, "What you guys got to do is get all on the same team and create a solidified front with him and just set the boundary and say, we love you, but we can't do this anymore. And if you want to keep doing it, that's your prerogative and that's fine, but we're not going to participate in that. And if you want help, we'll help you." And that's where they left it. My dad hit me with that, and there was no options. And I tried negotiating and bargaining. And so the answer with the question you asked is, why does the family have? Because what had to happen is my family had to get healthy first, because that rose the bar. If the entire family was going to get healthy and say, "Hey, we're no longer going to participate in this behavior," if I wanted to be part of the family, I had to join up, or I had to get to that space where I was ready to make that happen. That's the answer to the question. Family systems heal when somebody takes a stand and says, this has to change. And I'm going to be the one that says this is going to change. And then, fortunately, there were 3 of them and 1 of me. But it can work even if there's just 1 of you. I mean, someone has to stand up and say, this isn't going to work anymore. I can't do this anymore. And that's how we create systemic change. And that's why the answer to the question is, the interventionist said, hey, look, if you're not willing to participate, because here's the thing, right? For too long, our society has looked at it this way. In our family, there's one person that's a problem. And that's the only problem we have. That's crazy talk. Okay. So that person does have a problem, but everybody has problems. So let's rally the team and help that person with their problem. And then we can help everybody else with the problem. But to have this vision of this concept, well, there's just one person, and that's that bad apple. And I'm sure you and I can relate to that. That was definitely how we got treated. So that's the answer to the question. That's why. And it's what's successful is the other answer. That's why. The reason why is because that's what works,
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
Amen. Let's go right into it. I was going to follow that. I was going to follow up with something, but it's no need to. Video clip over. It's all Kevin. My mom went into treatment last week, but every day I'm getting calls from facilities stating my mom is wanting to leave. Our family has reiterated the need to finish if she wants a relationship. This is we've done a couple of shows together. I've carried this over because I think this audience, this kind of goes, this is a normal call in anyone that works in this industry. I'm sure you get them all the time. You got someone the mom actually wanting to leave treatment every single day. She's holding hostage that family, saying, maybe I want to leave. I want to leave. What do you got?
So, okay. Yeah, this happens every day. Yeah. And so what I do is when I work with a family and we're sending somebody to treatment, I prepare them ahead of time. Hey, I just want to let you know what's going to happen. I call it summer camp syndrome. They go to summer camp, and for like the first 2 weeks, everything sucks. It's the worst place. The food's awful. The counselors are horrible. The facilities are terrible. There are bugs and monsters, and I hate it. And what you learn as a parent is just to stand back and be like, cool. I'm just going to, I get it. I hear you, but no. The answer is no. And we love you, but the answer is no. And then eventually what happens is when they realize that you're not responding, they'll stop coming after you. They'll stop calling when they realize, when your answer is, well, talk to your therapist, talk to your sponsor, talk to your case manager. I'm sorry, I can't help you. You cannot, I always make them write this down. You cannot leave until the clinical team deems it appropriate. We hired professionals. We want the professionals to be in charge. And so they're going to call the shots. And that's how this is going to go. And you have to prepare the family ahead of time for this. And by the way, the other option is you don't have to pick up the phone. Let it go to voicemail and if it's the message. And then the answer is always like, but what if it's the treatment center calling with something urgent? Well, listen to the message and be like, oh, okay, I'll call back the clinical team. But if it's your person, it's just like, you got to get me out of here. It's like, oh no, sorry, I can't do that. So.
Now you gave a snapshot, and I think this goes right into what we were talking about, getting in their own help. I mean, what you're talking like is, well, you got families being coached by you and others. I mean, that's what it looks like to get into help and to be able to converse healthy, like you just laid out. Because I'm sure there's a mom or a dad sitting at home watching us right now saying like, oh, I wish I could say that to Johnny when I don't have the guts to. That's what we talk about when getting into your own help. There's professionals out there. The family whisperer himself, Kevin Peterson. This is exactly where it says, like, how does the family need to get help? You can help by having healthy boundaries when he calls every single day threatening to leave. So, boom.
Yeah. And that's what a good family addiction coach should be doing, is preparing the families ahead of time and being proactive. Hey, I want to let you know this is going to happen, because it always happens. It always happens. I just had a kid go to treatment last week or 2 weeks ago, and the parents were like, as soon as he said yes, within 5 minutes, he tried to start negotiating. And I was like, I told you, and they're like, yeah, no, you called it and you gave us all the right answers. And I'm like, just stick to your guns.
Yeah. It's a heck of an investment to send someone to treatment. I don't understand. I get it, but why not add just one more layer? Bring on a Kevin Peterson, I'm just any kind of professional to be able to walk you through the whole process. Why do families think that they have to do it themselves? It's an incredible investment. I get it all the time. My suggestion is always go just one layer further and bring on a Kevin Peterson. It's worth the investment. Our son is living in his car despite several discussions with us to get help. His car is going to be repossessed due to lack of payment. I feel like I should pay the debt to keep car. Suggestion.
No, I totally get where you're coming from, and I know this is scary. I want to start with right there that I know this is scary. Do not pay the debt on the car. Let the car be repossessed. It's probably going to come with debt for him as well. Having been through that before. And so this is your opportunity to say to him, hey, we're still willing to put you in treatment, or sober living or whatever situation he's in. This is your opportunity to say, God, I'm really sorry to hear that. By the way, our offer still stands. Don't spend the money on the car. Offer to spend the money on treatment, on some level of treatment that comes with a place to live. And, make it clear and concise that, hey, we love you. We're not mad. We're not angry. We think you're great. We just, if we're going to help, this is what the help looks like. Don't let him dictate the help, because that's just enabling and perpetuating the sickness alive. And that is just a straight and simple answer.
Well, why follow up after Kevin Peterson? I've learned it's why no one's listening to me afterwards anyway. So my son, who is struggling with substance abuse, has always just pushed us away when we try to help him get help. Does addiction just rob you of love? We have begged him to get help, and he just runs away. I laugh because I just see me. I mean, it's my mom, I think, uttered that same question when I was in the midst of it. Does addiction just rob you of love, Kevin?
Oh my gosh. You know what addiction does? It robs you of reality, and
I like that.
Yeah. It puts you in this freaky deaky space where, you just don't know. You don't know true from false. You don't know up from down. You have no idea what the hell is going on. And you're living in that incredibly reactive world where, like, I didn't answer the phone. I didn't answer the door. It was bad enough when I went to work. I kept figuring somebody was going to show up at work to come get me, for whatever reason. And you're living in that just world. And so, here's the thing. Your son loves you. He's just so caught up and deep in his hole that he doesn't know what to do. And so when you're saying, every time we try to help him, he pushes us away. Here's what I would say. Make a straightforward statement. Like, we love you. And when you're ready to get help, we'll help you. And that's it. Stop trying. Kind of what I got from that statement from them was that, well, we keep trying. We keep trying. And he's just like, stop. So stop. But just make it clear. We want you to know, we're in when it comes to you wanting help. But until then, we're going to keep you at a distance because you're really hurtful to us, and the way you treat us is inappropriate. I teach my families to set boundaries in only 3 areas: no drugs, no alcohol. You got to be self-supporting either through school or work. And you got to treat us with, dignity and kindness and love and respect. And it's that simple. It's black and white. It's just 3 things. And if we can establish that kind of relationship, then we're on the way, we're on the path. But until we can establish those things, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Now, you set those healthy boundaries. Where's the communication at that? Are you bringing them on to cut off communication unless they want help? Do you reach out and just say hi sometime? Where's the communication in that? You set the boundary. If you want help, we're here. We love you. We want the best for you. What's the level of communication would you work with a family on? If they say, Kevin, can I call him and just say I love him every day?
Well, sure, you can, but we're going to talk about why you need to do that. Because the truth is, what I'm guessing is what you're trying to actually do is figure out how they're doing, where they are, and what's going on. Not so much just calling and telling them you love them every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're going to uncover what's underneath that. Right. And now we're back to, you got to take care of you. You got to work on your stuff, But yeah, you can talk to them. But I would just be really clear. Every time we talk, we're going to talk about treatment. We're going to talk about you changing the way you live. I'm not going to listen to you. The answer is no on money. No, you can't have anything. No. Are you ready to get treatment? We're ready to help you. Oh, okay. And if they call and they're abusive or rude, and a lot of times people that ask this question, I'm like, well, how does the conversation go? Well, they're rude, they're abusive, they're mean, they're angry. I'm like, why would you talk to them? You don't have to do that. just make it clear, or maybe set a weekly phone call, or take them to lunch. That's okay too. Those are all perfectly okay. But you don't have to be their whipping boy. You don't got to be taking the beatings. So.
Well, last question. We get it all the time. Just great to have. Our daughter's addiction is heartbreaking, but our grandchildren are getting the worst of it. I know our daughter will resent us, but I feel it necessary to speak up for my grandchildren. Basically, they're looking for, you got the grandparents stepping in, obviously mom, and I think it sounds maybe dad too is in the addiction cycle. You got these kids that are seeing God knows what. Suggestions for the grandparents and how you step in.
Absolutely. Well, you need a lawyer. The truth of the matter is, if the mom and dad are both active in their addiction, that's neglect. It's just straight up, and you got a lawsuit. You got an ability to do it right then and there. And I deal with a lot of that. And that's just reality. But, I think at this point, you got to put the kids first. The grandchildren got to come first. And if they're struggling and they don't have, kids need consistency, they need stability, they need things to be the same. I go to school, I come home, there's dinner. Mom and dad are here, or mom, dad, whatever, whoever. But it's the same thing, repetition, same thing, same day, over. It makes them feel safe. And if they feel safe, they can develop emotionally and mature. Okay. But if they don't, then it stunts their emotional growth and it stunts their maturity. And that's where we start getting a ton of mental health issues. You can actually look that up on the ACE study on the cdc.gov, ACE, accumulated childhood experiences. And it's all about the levels of trauma that kids experience and then the long-term effects it has on them. And kids that grow up in that environment, oh man, it's brutal. It's just brutal. And so I would tell you, the sooner you intervene, the better, and get custody, get medical decision-making, and just start, look, I know this is going to suck. You already raised your kids. It's not fair, but this is what you got. So and then we're going to do that. But in the meantime, we're also going to come back to the parents and be like, hey, you need to go to treatment. You need to get sober. And we'll point you in the right direction and we'll help you find those services. But until then, we're taking care of the kids. So, yeah, kinship adoption is brutal. It's hard on everybody and everything. But when you have kids that are parents that are struggling with drug addiction or alcoholism or even severe mental illness, the kids pay the price, and it's just not fair.
It's just heartbreaking. I hear more and more stories and so forth of just the kids not even knowing, just living in a addict's house. These kids, just what they consider normal or something. I came across someone that the 7-year-old thought just was normal to have wash out the needles while and dry them. And she's 7 years old, thinking that that's just what every other house that in her school's doing, and never bringing it up. And it's heartbreaking. And like I said, you guys are investing a lot of time, energy, and money into treatment. I'd go one layer more. Reach out to chronichope.us, and Kevin, he can guide you. He's also his book that is amazing. He's got 2 of them. Probably working on his 3rd, and he needs to have a 3rd one. Needs to have a 3rd one. But anyway, Kevin, we're going to do this every week because you keep telling me, let's keep doing it. We'll keep doing it. And that's all you care about is helping families. And I respect that. So let's do this again next week. Kevin, always a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. I enjoy the time. I enjoy you putting out all the effort and making this happen. And,
Oh, this is the easy part. The questions is, I count the minutes trying to get these questions in front of you, because it's like sometimes I don't even know. And I've been doing this for 12, 14 years, whatever it may be. And I was like, Kevin would know the answer to this. I don't know what to say. So what would Kevin do? We'll find out next week.
All right. Look forward to it.